If you are not here earlier, good morning to you or everyone else that joined us online. I'm really excited today because we are starting a new series. As Kelly mentioned, finances, I love finances because finances make sense, numbers make sense most of the time. For some of us, not everyone. But for me personal, numbers make more sense than language. Actually, math was the only subject in school that I was good at it. Everything else I just kind of pass. But at math, I was exceeding. Probably because I had a great teacher. Anyhow, this message that we are starting today, that it's going to be 4 weeks, it's going to be very impactful if you are listening to it and if you're applying most of the ideas. But also this message can be one of the easiest that you'll be like, just shake it off and it's like, well, I don't care, this subject is not for me, it's just, it's just number, it's just money. But you'll be surprised how many times God talks about money and finances in the Bible. So I really encourage you, just endure the pain for the next 4 weeks, and I promise I will make it a little funnier. Little, not too much. Many of you know about Dave Ramsey, probably. If not, it's a great financial teacher. And he had this curriculum, Financial Peace University, which financial peace, 2 words that doesn't go together, right? Because in today's world, finances and peace just don't go together. But he had this great curriculum that I had the honor to lead it probably 6-7 times. And actually, we are going to bring it back in September. So if you are interested about Financial Peace University, please let us know because we are going to have it at my house and space is limited. So we want to be sure we have enough room for everyone that is interested. Also, if you took the Financial Peace before and you kind of forgot about it, or just not paying attention anymore to the steps that he recommend, I encourage you to just take it again. Actually, it's no cost for you. If you took it before, you can just join us. Anyhow, today we are going to start this new series called Making Change. And it's going to be based on 4 topics. And those 4 topics are: less is more, stress is bad, giving is good, and tomorrow matters. Let me say it again. Let's say it together. Less is more, stress is bad, giving is good, tomorrow matters. Today we are going to look at less is more. How many of you thought, I did, that if I have 1, 2 is better? Or more, it's better. If I have $1, $2 is better. If I have 1 car, 2 cars is better. If I have 1 kid, 3 is better. Most of the days, or most of the time. More money is better, more clothes is better, more toys, more stuff. Because that we've been raised, or that's how we've been born with, just wanted more. See, when we are born, I never heard a baby coming into this world start developing and say like, here, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. Every child that is born is coming with this desire, like, it's mine, I want more, I want more. Especially when we talk about chocolate, at least in my case. But less is more. And actually for this message today, I'm going to use only 1 Bible verse, which kind of is not my style, but I want to just help you understand that many times less is more. And if we are going to repeat this 1 Bible verse multiple times, you will learn it, you will memorize it, and hopefully you will apply it in your life. So many times, I use 3, 4, 5, 10 Bible verses. And many of you probably don't even remember one of them. Today, we are going to use one, and hopefully you'll remember, just to highlight less, it's many times more. So, the Bible verse we are going to use is this. Better one handful with tranquility, with peace, than 2 handfuls with toil, with stress, with tears, and chasing after the wind. Let me say it one more time, because you are going to hear this Bible verse multiple times today. I think at the end of the message, you are going to be like, man, that guy repeated himself so many times. But it's okay, because less is more. Better 1 handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Why is better? See, if I have a handful and peace, then I have 1 hand available to lift up somebody that might need help. If I have a handful and 1 available, I can take something from my full hand and give to somebody and bless someone. If I have 1 handful and another 1 available, I can just give encouragement to others, support to others. See, if I have 1 handful and 1 open and available, guess what? I can take a nap. Please don't do that during my message. Anyone have ever eaten funnel cake at the Valley Fair? A couple weeks ago, on the first day of Valley Fair, we went to Valley Fair, and I was so disappointed. They had none of the funnel cake stores open. You couldn't buy a funnel cake. But a few years back, we went to Valley Fair with family, with friends, and you pay only 1 ticket and you can ride all the rides you want. Well, I went directly for actually we didn't go directly for the funnel cake because they don't open until 10 o'clock. We went there around 9 o'clock, so 1 hour, did a couple rides, and then 10 o'clock I was in line waiting for my funnel cake. But 2 is better than 1. So I ordered 2 funnel cakes, and they are pretty big. In my mind, first I was like, well, I can share it with everyone else. Well, everyone else went on rides. So I said, like, well, awesome, good for me. So I started eating 1, and later on I realized that by the time I finished 1, I wasn't sure what I'm going to do with the second one. But slow and steady, I ate the second one, the whole funnel cake. After eating 2 funnel cakes, I realized that I cannot ride any more rides. And then I was so full of sugar that I had to start drinking a lot of water. Well, I started drinking a lot of water. I ended up spending most of my time in the restrooms. Like, you know what? 2 is not always better than 1. I should have gotten 1 and enjoy the rest of the day. But more is not always better. See, Adam and Eve, if you remember the story in Genesis, is that they had everything except another tree. And what did the devil said? Well, I think if you'll have more, it will be better. You should try that one also. So the desire to have more, it's kind of little tiny evil desire. It's just not godly desire for us to have more stuff, more things that are not important to us. More is not always better. See, we grew up with this idea that what you don't have is what you need. I don't have that and I need that. I don't have this and I need this. And most of the time we are pursuing what we don't have, thinking that it's what we need. And after we achieve it, after we get it, we realize that actually that's not what we needed. And then we start thinking about next things that we might need and go around and around and around. And we never learn the lesson that less is more. So, the 4 topics we are going to cover, it's less is more, stress is bad, giving is good, and tomorrow matters. But for today, let's talk about less is more. To really understand what really matters, you have to define what does matter. What does matter? And I really encourage you to just think about that. But think in a perspective, not just like, yeah, what does matter today? I would like you to think about, let's play a small game. I would like you to just, all of you, close your eyes. And I would like you that you imagine that you are in the doctor's office. You got probably an MRI, a scat or something done, and you are with your doctor. And the doctor on the other side of the desk is saying like, I have bad news. You have only 3 months to live. Please open your eyes. What will be your reaction at that moment? Probably a lot of things are going to your life, through your mind, and start thinking, what really matters in my life right now? Because I have only 3 months to live. See, so many times we go through life without realizing that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Next year might not be there, or 10 years. Let's not wait for a diagnosis from the doctor to help realize to really define what matters in our life. Let's define what matters in our life today. My grandpa was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he had around 4 or 5 months to live. Was the very late stage when they found it, and at that moment was nothing else they could do about it, except put him on a lot of pain medication and send him home to spend his last few months. My grandpa was not a Christian man most of his life. He gave his life probably a few months before he got the diagnosis, give his life to Christ, a few months before he got the diagnosis. But you know what? Talking to him for the last few months of his life helped me realize, and he really understood that life is short. Doesn't matter if you are a teenager, doesn't matter if you are in your 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, 80s, life is short. What matters for us in this life? See, if you go on media and you ask people what is most important in your life, or what is most important to you, nobody's gonna say, well, more money. Nobody's gonna say, I wish I would just be better at Fortnite or reach the last level of Pokemon Go. Nobody's gonna say about, go to this concert or do this or do that, which is not bad to do that. But no one is going to say that is the most important in their life. Nobody's gonna say that, that new countertop that we got was very important or really matter, or that last car model or a new car or iPhone 13 or 16 or whatever the last number is. Everybody's gonna tell you that the most important is family, it's friends, it's marriage, it's God, and so forth. But many times we go through life without paying attention to what is most important. And we are derailed, we are distracted by what is not important. I really encourage each one of you to just go home later today, and in the next couple days, think really hard and put on the paper maybe 3, 4, 5 things that really matter for you. And don't leave it there. Pursue it. See what you can do to make that a priority in your life. But to really understand that less is more living, I would like to just go through three points that I have in my message. First, we need to learn to cut back. See, when we got married, first apartment that me and my wife Kelly lived in was one-bedroom apartment. And I think the closet was probably 2.5 feet, probably by 5.5 feet, 6 feet. And you know what? Both our clothes was fitting in that closet. Was no problem. Later on, of course, we moved to another house, and then we had a little bigger closet. And then you move to a bigger house, and you have those walk-in closet, which, to be honest with you, in Romania, some of those walk-in closet was the size of the bathroom, including the bathtub in it. And without realizing, we are just collecting more and more and more. Cutting back, it's a way of understanding that less is more. And you know, some people have not just one layer of clothes in the closet. They have walk-in closet, and then they have multiple layers of walk-in closet, and drawers and cabinet. And I seen on TV some of those fancy closet that is not just walking around like half mile through their closet. They run out of space, and then something comes down from the ceiling with an extra rack of clothes. And eventually, some of you might run out of space in your closet, and what do? You start piling stuff in the garage. What is the garage for? Automobile, right? It's for a car. But some of you run out of space in the garage, and you start filling up the attic. Some of you, the attic is too short, not tall enough, and what are you doing? You are renting space out to pay to store the stuff that probably you forget you have and you might never use it. You are paying someone else to store the stuff that you might not ever use. And by the way, many people, and me included, sometimes I go to the closet, I'm walking to the closet and looking, and what are you saying? Honey, I have nothing to wear. Even that, the closet is full. And then because, you know, seasons are, and we have so much stuff, we say like, okay, let's put the winter stuff in boxes, store it here to be able to put the summer stuff in, and it's just getting more and more and more stuff. We have to develop an idea and principle of cutting back. We need to cut back. For this reason, it's important to remember that less is more. Actually, Jesus said at the end of a parable that life does not consist in the abundance of stuff. See, I prefer to have less stuff and more friends. I prefer to have less stuff and more time with family. I prefer to have less stuff and more experiences than collecting stuff and stuff and stuff. Think about it. We need to cut back, and we need to understand that many times less is more. Better one handful with tranquility, with peace, with joy, with excitement, than 2 handfuls with toil, tears, stress, frustration. And for what? For chasing after the wind. Also, to really understand that less is more living, we need to clear out. Sometimes we need to clear out stuff that we already have. I'm a mechanic guy, and I love working on my own cars, changing the oil and do all kind of stuff on the vehicles. And I always loved and like to have, I think it's a necessity, to have WD-40 in my garage. It's good for all kind of things, but especially for a mechanic, it's really good. So, I buy WD-40 at Menards and I put it somewhere in the garage. And because the garage is full of stuff, I never find it. So I went to Menards and pick up another one. And then I realized I have 2 now. And then I found that I have 4, 5, 6, 7 cans of WD-40. When I go in the garage, look for it. Do you think I find any? No. I end up going to Menards again, pick up another one, it's frustrating for my wife. Sometimes I realize that I bought the WD-40 can spray and it's still in the bag in my office because I never got it to the garage. We need to clear out. We need to organize little. We need to just give stuff away if we have too much. See, how many of you get frustrated when you go to a restaurant and the menu is 15 pages long? Cheesecake Factory, it drives me insane. It's just, I go to an Italian restaurant, I know what I'm gonna have. I go to a Mexican restaurant, I know what I'm gonna have. I go to Cheesecake Factory, I get frustrated because there are so many options. If we will clear out some of those options, it will be much easier to make a decision. For this reason, when I hear my wife saying let's go to the Cheesecake Factory, I'm already thinking, I'm gonna have chicken. At least narrow down the menu to just chicken. It's still plenty options. How many of you go to Netflix or Disney channel apps and you try to find something to watch? And you go through show after show after show, movie after movie after movie. Half hour later, you are still trying to figure out what you're gonna watch. Many of you has that problem? Yeah? Because there are too many options. See, if we'll clear out some of those options, we'll make our choice much easier. But are too many options. So, to be able to understand that less is more, we have to clear out. And let's be honest. If you are thinking about your closet right now, probably you start thinking about something that you should give out. Things that probably you didn't wear it in 1 year. If you didn't wear it in a year or 2, probably that need to go. I remember a story about this crazy lady. I call her crazy just because she has this crazy idea to be able to clear out some of her, in her house, some of the stuff. She said to be able to let it go because she was holding on tight to things, she started thanking God for the purpose that item served. And then it's now I'm gonna release you to bless someone else. I kind of like the idea. So, if you have 3, 4, 5, 7 pair of pants, probably 1 can go. If you have 15 sweatshirts and 20 t-shirts, probably some of them can go. So, pretty much try to understand, to clear out, is that if you have to go buy some sweatshirt, when you come home with 1 sweatshirt, decide which other ones can go. So if you buy 1, give 1 away, kind of a rule. Get 1, give 1. So if you go and buy a hat, come home and give a hat away. If you go and buy a new dress, come home and give 1 dress away. If you go and buy underwear, don't give your underwear away. Don't do that. But try to understand, we need to clear out. We need to limit the options, because when we limit the options, we will realize how blessed we are and that we do have stuff to wear. So, cut back, that means shop less. Clear out, look through stuff that you don't need and give it away. And the last but not the least, to understand that less is more, we need to pay off. Less is more, and stress is bad. I'm gonna cover this topic about stress is bad in next week. But we all know that debt is bad. See, I never heard anyone saying, oh, I'm so excited to get the credit card statement in the mail. I'm so happy when I see bills on my desk and I have to write the check. I'm so happy. It's a blessing to me to write checks. Nobody is really experience joy in the middle of the debt. If we want to understand that less is more, we have to cut down on some of our debt. So, what I hear is that debt brings stress, worry, fear. See, if you know about Dave Ramsey, he has this idea of getting crazy about getting out of debt. Like, go nuts and get out of debt. And then many people that I know got out of debt and they had a much better life. I know so many people that when they were $15,000, $18,000, $20,000 in debt, when they wrote the last check to the last credit card, they were so happy. And they start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel because now they had no debt on credit cards. And that person, the same person, had just 4 or 5 more months left on the car payment. But because he didn't have to write any checks to the credit card companies, he was able in just 2 months to pay in full the car loans. And now he had no debt. The same person, after probably a year of just staying out of debt, set money aside over $10,000 to be able to buy a car, probably with no car payment. See, debt is going to bring so much peace and joy in our life. Less is more. And to be honest with you, it's better to have an older car with no car payment than a brand new car with a huge payment. Better it's a car that's paid off than a new one with car payments. Better it's a smaller house with a small house payment than huge one. Better to have financial margin and to be able to help others than trying to live on the edge, paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. As I said, it's better to have a smaller house than try to fight who's spending what or where, and try to have those budget meetings and cut everything and everywhere because the house has to be paid. Less is more, and I want us to understand that. But also, I don't want you to think that when I say less is more, that means you don't have anything. I'm not saying you should not have anything, because nothing is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about less. And you know what? In my opinion, it's better to have less and nice stuff than more and junk. In Romania, we used to have gypsies that some of the gypsies, they grew up with no shoes and so forth. And they learned that by buying cheap shoes, they were wearing so fast and so easy that was more expensive to buy cheap shoes than to buy good, expensive shoes. So what they learned and they start doing is just they were buying good shoes that was lasting longer than all the other cheap shoes. So when I'm saying less is more, I'm not saying have nothing. I'm saying have nice things. You can have nice things, but those things does not own you. Better a little nice stuff that you own than a bunch of junk owns you. It's better to have something that you use and something that you enjoy and you appreciate than having a lot of stuff that sit on a shelf, in a box, or in a storage unit. Better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Let me say it one more time. As I promise you, I'm going to repeat myself a lot today. Better 1 handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Craig Rochelle said this: "The richest people are not those who have the most. The rich people are those that need the least." Having stuff doesn't make you rich. Actually, having a lot of stuff that it's financed, I think it's making you a slave. Because the borrower is slave to the lender. If you don't believe me that less is more, I recommend you go on a mission trip in somewhere in a third world country or Africa. And you know, first time you go to one of those mission trips where we went to Africa, and first time we landed there, we realized those people has nothing. They have no electricity, they have no running water, most of them sleep probably 20 in a bedroom, they have nothing. And then 2 days later, we interacted with them and they are playing outside, and kids and parents, and they are having fun and they are laughing and they are smiling and they are enjoying and they live a blessed life, having nothing. And later on, 2 days later, we went to a worship program, worship service, and those people that had nothing, in our opinion, worship God like they have everything. Less is more. That helped us realize. We came home and we start realizing, you know, for a couple days, we realized that, hey, what we have, it's a blessing. But without realizing, weeks or months or years later, we get sucked in this consumerism ideology that we live in today's world. That we need this, we need that, we need more, we need more, we need more, to put it in the storeroom. It is amazing to be able to really understand that less of what doesn't matter, it's more of what does matter. Less of what doesn't matter is more of what does matter. So let's cut back, let's clear out and pay off to be able to understand that less is more living. Your life is too valuable. Your calling is too great. Your God is too good to waste your life on meaningless things. Let me say it again. Your life is too valuable, your calling too great, and your God is too good to waste your life on meaningless things. Let's put on the paper. Let's think about what really matters in our life and really comprehend and understand that less is more. See, better it's one handful and children that you love than two handful and they don't recognize you because you are working all the time getting more stuff. See, it's better to have one handful and intimate friends than two handful and no one around you. It's better to have one handful and vacations, memories, than two handful keep accumulating stuff. It's better to have one handful and a good marriage than two handful and stress, fights, and separate lives. It's better to have one handful and the ability to make a difference in someone else's life than two handful and not influencing anyone around you. It's better to have one handful and passion for Jesus Christ than two handful with toil, with sorrow, with tears, with stress, and not knowing Him. Again, less is more. Stress is bad, giving is good, and tomorrow matters. I would like all of us to just say it together. Less is more, stress is bad, giving is good, and tomorrow matters. And just in case, if you forgot the Bible verse, let's say it together. Better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. You will not be able to experience and understand this without really understanding God's love for you. So what I would like to do right now, if you never give your life to Christ, I would like you to understand, He came into this world for you and I to have good things, to have a good life. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying good stuff, good junk. I'm talking about having a good life, having an abundant life. And this is what Jesus came in this world for, to make it available for you and I to have access to eternal life, to have access to God's forgiveness. So what I would like to do right now is, if you never said that prayer, if you never accepted Jesus Christ in your life, if you never said, I need you, God, in my life, I would like to take a moment right now and do that. So please, all of you, close your eyes right now. And if you are watching this online, you can say after me, God, I believe in you. I've been chasing after junk and after stuff without realizing that is not going to fulfill me, is not going to bring me happiness, is not going to bring me anything but toil, stress, frustration, tears, and disappointments. Today I realize that I need you, God, in my life. So I choose your ways. Today I give my life to you. I accept you as my Savior. I understand that you came in this world for me to have abundant life. So I accept you and I want you to be with me now and forever. If you said that prayer, here or online, please reach out to us because we would love to mail you or give you a book that we have. It's called What's Next. That is going to help you grow in your relation with God. And it's going to help you really understand that less is more. But more with God is going to be enough. So we are asking for you to just reach out to us and we'll mail you this book to you.